It's Tuesday, it's tea time, let's talk. Today I am talking about pressing matters. I'm drinking the same tea because yes, I am batch recording these month by month so that I can actually get a video out on time. You're welcome. There's a difference between pressing and ironing. In ironing, you're going to take your iron and you're going to rub it on your fabric in order to get wrinkles out. You're not going to do that when you're pressing. You're going to take your iron and you're going to put it on your seam and you're going to press down with pressure. This is why it's called pressing. If you find that you are getting some show through, like when you press your piece and you turn it right side out and there are like lines as to where you've pressed your seam allowance down, you can take some brown paper and slide them up underneath the seam allowance before you press. You can also use a press cloth if you find that you are getting shine or you're threatening to melt your fabric. If you're pressing a polyester on too high of a heat, you can end up melting it. If you are finding that your fabric doesn't lay flat with your seam allowance after you've pressed it, you can get a block of wood, and when you pull your iron off, you can put the wood on and let it cool with the weight of the wood on there. The wood will absorb the heat and it will train the fabric to lay flat. The way that pressing works, you're changing the memory of the fiber. It's essentially the same whether it's a natural fiber or a polyester fiber. You sew it and then you pull the seam allowance apart and press it that way. You want it to heat and then cool in the same position to change the memory of the fiber. It's like when you knit lace and you block it, or you block a sweater, you get it wet and then you stretch it out to the dimensions that you want it to be and you pin it that way and then you let it dry until it gets wet again. It's gonna remember the shape that you put it in. That's what pressing is you're just saying, hey, fabric, I want you to remember this. I want you to behave. I want you to lay flat and beautiful. And this is what we're gonna do. You kind of, I don't want to say beating it into submission, but you're like gently steaming it into submission. There's a camp that says no steam, and then there's a camp that says all the steam, and I usually am in steam. I'm team steam, right? I use steam for almost everything. I even use steam when I'm not supposed to use steam, when you're using a fusible interface and they're like, don't use steam. I'm like, whatever, I have steam, I'm gonna use steam. I'm a steam queen, you could say. What about you? Are you team steam? Are you team no steam? I know this is like a big thing in the quilting world, and the reason why I think it's a big thing in the quilting world is because often pre-cuts are not pre-washed before you use them, and they still contain sizing, which, as an aside, hashtag team pre-wash. Pre-wash your fabric when you can, because the sizing, especially on cotton, contains nasty chemicals, carcinogens, things that you do not want to be breathing. Cutting them releases tiny fibers with these chemicals on them. You breathe that in, you're more likely to get cancer. It's pre-wash your fabrics. It's a health thing, but I can understand why quilters might say don't use steam, because if you use steam, you might reactivate some of those chemicals and they might get into the steam. So, like, I guess if you're using pre-cuts and you're not pre-washing them, like the charm squares or the jelly roll strips or things like that, then I would advise against using steam if you're not pre-washing those. And pre-washing those is, you're going to end up with this much fabric because it's all going to fry off in the wash and dry. It's like a catch-22. So yeah, what camp are you in? Are you steam, please? Do you like the dry heat? It's not the heat, it's the humidity that'll kill you. I live in the Midwest. I hear it every summer. That's it. Don't iron to set your seams. Press. Press. Pick it up, move it, press. Pick it up, move it, press. It's easy peasy pudding pie. Thank you for watching. I am going to assume that you are not new to YouTube and you know how to press all the buttons in order to support the channel. And I am just grateful that you're here along with me on this journey. I really appreciate you. Let me know if you like steam. Team steam. Team pre-wash. Love you.